I just got a new package in the mail, and this looks about the size of a dropper. I can't wait to share my new dropper sponsor with you. So this year I'm going to be running 9.8 droppers, the fall line. 9.8 makes some really cool products. They make droppers from 75 millimeters all the way up to 200 millimeters. I went with the 125 millimeter size because I'm short and the 150 wouldn't quite fit on my frame. Let's take a look at what's inside. I am super excited for this. I've been struggling without a dropper for the last few rides. It's worked, but I'd rather have a dropper than front suspension. I love droppers. Little torque key and a cable. The lever that looks just like a wolf tooth one. They worked with wolf tooth to make this lever. Cool. The adapter to run it to my SRAM brakes. And last but not least, we've got the fall line with the Hardtail Party engraving on it. That is so cool. Thanks, you guys. I cannot wait to run this on my bike and have that on there. You guys rock. Let's get this thing installed. Got the new seat collar on there with a really cool 9.8 logo there. Now this is not a review, I'm sponsored by them, so I am totally biased and I'll be the first to say it. So do your research and get the right dropper for you. I did my research and that's why I went with 9.8 on this fall line. And I'd used it before and I really, really liked it last time I used it. I'm gonna install the remote first. That's pretty straightforward. You'll notice the same exact lever design with wolf tooth, which I was running on my Chameleon and I really, really like. It means you can run the raw end of the cable on both ends of your dropper. It has a bearing here and it has a lot of adjustment. This comes with the bar mount on it, and I would normally put that up here, but now I'm gonna pull this mount off and mount it to my SRAM brake setting there. I've got my little timber bell in the way. I may need to move that, but I can move this up and down and move the lever in and out. I can't tell you how great it is to have this grabber right here. A lot of them have a stopper where you have to put the end of the cable. That makes it so hard to get your tension just right. This way, once you hook it all up to the dropper, if the tension's off, you just loosen that, pull a little more cable out and get it tight here. That'll be so nice. First, we're going to feed our cable into the route it's gonna go and kind of measure the cable length. Okay, we got about 6 inches sticking out. I've got it routed how I want it, and I've got enough slack in the cable to turn the bars even with the top tube. Now we start adding the hardware. We put this little seal on here. This isn't a how-to, this is just the story of me installing it. 9.8 has all these instructions online and they do a much clearer job, and they're not at their campsite dropping stuff in the dirt. But man, I'm excited to get this thing on. You kind of thread this on. I worked at shops all through high school and college, and Tri-Flow is your best friend. I'm just gonna put a drop or two on the cable and let it run down. It's a Teflon-based lubricant, and it just keeps, I always put it on my cables just to keep things flowing in there and low friction in the housing, in between the housing and the cable. Go. So this has a quick disconnect feature, so you can leave your cable settings all exactly the same way and still remove your seat post if you need to transport it or put it in a bag or fly with it or something like that. Pretty cool feature. So right now I'm putting the quick connects on. Oh, that's so cool with the Hardtail Party sticking out there. Yeah, that is so cool. Check it out. I mean, it's obviously more exciting to me. All right, let's just get it working and then I'll dial in the length later. That's a fast seat post. Boom, there it is. That was another thing I remembered, was how fast it was. I love that. It's also got a super easy reset procedure if you do ever get a little bit of play in it. They've got a video online, but you just hold this down for 10 seconds. Boom. Love it. Let's put the seat on. This is probably one of my favorite features. The bolts that hold the saddle on and the bolts that angle the saddle are different. So you can take your saddle on and off, change pressure, swap saddles without ever changing the angle of your saddle, and that is huge. Such a relief. You know how frustrating it can be to get these on. I just slide that right in there. Oh man. So my saddle's tight, now I'm just doing the angle. Such a good idea, you guys. I love products that were designed by people who actually ride and actually work on bikes. This is so handy. By far the easiest dropper I've ever installed. I love that those are independent. The forward and back is different from the up and down, and genius, you guys. Thank you. 8 to 12 Newton meters, that's quite a bit. All right, I think I have a working dropper now. What's really cool about this system is it uses a brake that expands in there and grabs it, and that's how it holds on to things, and that's why you're not getting the side-to-side play. It also doesn't require insane pressure. I think it's like in the 30 or 40 PSI range. You don't have to add like 120 PSI like a lot of the seat posts. So that's cool. That means the seals are under less pressure all the time. All right, I'm gonna go set my saddle height and then tidy up my cables, and that'll be it. One other super cool thing about the 9.8 fall line is, this fixes another one of my biggest pet peeves about droppers, and that is when you need to raise it for a friend or adjust it or something. Most droppers, if you just pull on the dropper and don't feed the cable ahead of it, it will pull itself out of the quick release and then get all loose in there. Then you have to loosen everything. Not with this. You just pull this and it hangs onto the housing, which is such a great design. So I am super excited about that. A lot of great little things they thought of, put a lot of thought into this just to make it so much easier to use on a day-to-day, and I really, really appreciate that. Install's all done. That could not have gone smoother. Super excited for this. There's so many features I love. I love that the tightening in the forward and back is different from the angle adjust. I love that you can pull it up without pulling it out of the housing. I love the lever. The lever is so good. Got all this adjustment here. I love how quickly it rises. I'm so stoked to be working with 9point8. What a great company. Thanks you guys for the custom laser etching. That is just the cherry on top of an already fantastic dropper. I cannot wait to go take this on a ride now and have a proper dropper. And it's coming together. There's just one or two little things I want to change to this bike, and then we'll be set.